Hi everyone. This is a practice that I'm calling the Hamstring Extravaganza. We are going to be really focusing on a set of muscles that run on the back of the legs that tend to be very tight for almost everybody, but especially for teens. Just as a function of the way that your bones and muscles grow, they tend to be very tight. So, and when they're tight, it really affects low back health. So we'll go into why and how, and we will do a lot of work to help create a little length and comfort in this area of the body. So before we start moving, go ahead and put a hand up on the heart and a hand at the belly, and just take a second to slow down the breath, to deepen the inhale, fill the body up so much that the belly and the sides and the back of the body gets super full. And then let that inhale just turn right into an exhale. Let yourself exhale all the way out. Anything that you've been holding onto today, let it all the way out. Sometimes we don't even know we're holding the breath when we are. That'll make room for the next inhale to be so big, so full, so fresh. And then exhale back out again. As we've been exploring, your body reacts to stress in a way that, one of the ways is that it tightens up the muscles. So just taking a moment to settle yourself into your practice and take some deep breaths to feel the earth underneath your body supporting you. Your body already will start, the muscles will start loosening themselves. And then we're going to do some really sweet poses to make sure they get fully relaxed. But go ahead and take 2 more breaths here. This is not a time to figure anything out. It's not a time to replay old scenes from your life. It's a time to just be right here, right now. To tune into your breath, your body, the space where you are sitting. If it helps to put the computer kind of off to the side so that you're really only looking at me when you need that visual cue, I highly recommend that. That you can have your attention in your own body as much as possible. This is going to help us as we go into a very physically focused practice. Help us get right to the sweet spot of each stretch. One more breath. And exhale, release your hands down. And we're going to start all the way up standing. So go ahead and come up. Let's move the roll, or the blanket rather, off to the side. And bring your feet hip bone distance apart, parallel to each other. Find the 4 corners of the feet settling down. I tend to notice my weight so much on the balls of my feet, so I'm working to get a little more weight to my heels. See what your tendency is and find evenness between the mound of the big toe, inner heel, mound of the pinky toe, outer heel. Then draw the feet in, take the thigh bones back and rotate in a little bit. Scoop the tailbone to balance that out, and inhale, reach up. And exhale down. Inhale up. Soft knees, never locking in the knees. Exhale down. One more time, bringing your breath and your movement together. And exhale down. Now, step your feet a little wider apart. For this action, you're going to lift one heel and then lift the other heel. So you're kind of toggling back and forth between the feet. Now when I lift my right heel, I'm going to turn my chest to the left. When I lift the left heel, I'm going to turn my chest to the right. And then I'm going to let the arms come with and actually kind of tap my own back. If you have a Qigong teacher or expert in your life, they'll be able to tell you more particulars about this exercise. I learned it from a Qigong teacher and have just always loved it. It's a nice way to wake up and create a little extra vitality, a little extra energy. And I know that twists can be so detoxifying for the body. I'm going to go one more time each way and then pause. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead, let's stay facing this way for just a couple more. Here, if you know that touching the floor in forward folds is tricky, I want you to have your blocks handy like this. Not right next to your ankles because that's just a little intense, but a little in front. So inhale, reach up. Exhale, and then begin your movement to come down. If you tend to hyperextend, go ahead and bend your knees on the way down. That's fine. Here we go. I don't really need the blocks, but I wanted you to see that. Inhale, lift the heart halfway, stretching the back long, and then exhale down. Inhale, reaching out and up, and exhale down. One more time. Kind of warming up the hamstrings here. Inhaling up, exhaling down forward, and just noticing the sensations with no judgment. Inhale, lifting up, exhale down, making sure the kneecaps are pointing forward. Step the feet a little bit apart and just shift the hips right to left. Big full breath here, feet settling into the earth. Keep your hips in the middle, hands to hips, reach your heart forward to come up. Let's do some sun salutations. So come to the front edge of your mat. And you guys over. Come to the front edge of your mat, feet hip bone distance apart again. And inhale, reach up. Exhale all the way over to the blocks or to the floor. Inhale, lift the heart halfway. Exhale down. Take your left leg back and maybe reach all the way up. Maybe have hands on the front of the thigh or down by your side. For this one, your choice. Exhale down, back to plank, hugging it, and lower down. Clear hand as you curl up. Reach out your toes, reach out your heart, tuck your toes and come back up to dog pose. Breathing deep, both hands steady, both feet steady. Inhale, and your left leg is going to come forward. Settle down through your feet. Set your foundation and inhale and come up. Maybe in one motion, maybe pausing. Back inner thigh rolls up, tailbone scoops down. Exhale down. Inhale, step forward. Lift the heart halfway. And exhale down. Inhale out to the side to come up. Exhale, bow forward. Just being with each movement. Step on back with the left leg. This time, you're going to bring the heel to the ground with the toes pointing as far forward as you can. Some people have to bring the heel a little bit to center. If you need to, that's fine. You're going to bend through the front knee and come up. It is important that that back heel goes to the ground so that you can get that nice calf stretch. Hands to hips. Square your hips. Back inner thigh rolls up, outer thigh down. Lift the belly and draw the tailbone down, and then reach up. This is warrior one. Breathing here. Lifting the heart and just being with this pose. Nothing else matters right now. Lift the heels, square the hips. Come on down. Plank pose. Hands so steady, especially mounds of the pointer fingers. Lowering in one piece and curl it up. Up and back to dog. 3 or 4 breaths here. Inhale, forward with the left foot. Back heel comes down, and inhale, come up. Saddle your feet into the ground, square the hips, scoop the tailbone, feel your core engage, and just spread your awareness through your whole body. It's nice to practice like this where it's just breath and movement, nothing fancy, but powerful tools to keep you right here, present. Exhale down. Inhale, step forward, lift the heart halfway, and exhale down. Making sure my kneecaps are forward, I'm going to inhale and come up. And exhale, hands to the heart. Last one, inhale down and up. Exhale down. You might want to have your blocks handy for this one. Step your left leg back. For most of you, you'll need blocks here. So I'm going to show on the blocks. You're going to go into a kind of a regular lung. Inhale, lift the heart. And then exhale, start straightening the front leg to draw the back heel down. Your back heel may not hit the ground. Your front leg may go nowhere near straight. That's okay. Inhale, bend the front knee over the ankle and lift up. And then exhale back down. Now, if you're really getting almost no movement at all back, you're going to pop up. And you'll find a little more movement there. If it feels like nothing's stretching, you're going to come down onto the ground. Now I'm going to meet you in the middle here. Now, you can also, here's a variation, bring both blocks to the inside if that's feeling better to you, and walk the front foot to the side like I just did. Sometimes that feels nice on my body. So inhaling forward, exhaling back. Inhaling forward, exhaling back, and continuing to roll the back inner thigh up, outer thigh down. Inhale forward, exhale back. One more time. Inhale forward and exhale back. Okay. Blocks to the side, hands down to the ground, plank. Hugging into center, inner thighs up, tailbone down, just finding it. One more breath. Exhale down, curl it up, and up and back to dog. Smoothing out the breath, deep inhale, deep exhale. Settling down with both hands and both feet. Settling all the thoughts down out of the main part of your awareness so that your awareness can be right here with your body. Inhale. Take that left foot forward. I'm going to bring my blocks to the inside on the middle way, because that's what I did on the first side after all that experimenting. So try to do more or less what you did on the first side. Bending through the front knee and finding those 4 corners of the feet. Back inner thigh lifted. Take another breath just here, softening your jaw and your eyes. Inhale and exhale back. Inhale and exhale back. Inhale and exhale back. And this is really helping loosen up the hamstrings. One more time. And back. Okay. Blocks to the side. Inhale, step forward. Hands to hips. Scoop the tailbone as you come up. Inhale, reach. And exhale to the heart. Okay. Now we're warm enough to start getting into those hamstrings and we're really starting to open up. So find your strap. We're going to lay down actually. You're going to want to make sure that there's not very much to either side of you. Okay. Laying back. Shoulders to the ground.
make sure that there's a little bit of a curve to the low back so you're not pushing into the back. When I push into the ground, my tailbone is scooping up to the sky. I want to have my tailbone be pointing not to the sky, but just kind of maybe on the diagonal so that there's a little bit of a curve there. Thigh bones pressing away from my feet. Now, grab your strap, and let's strap up the left side first. Long, loose arms, shoulders resting on the ground, and hands just going to wherever. You don't get extra points for having hands closer to the foot. You do get extra points for doing the pose with a really good alignment. Those extra points is your body feeling better. Spread the toes here. Now, when you're here, you can't really extend past here. No, you're not alone. You may want to straighten the bottom leg, or sorry, you do not want to straighten the bottom leg. What you want to do is lower this top leg till you find some place that's close to straight. And the knee is bent. The hamstrings do not get much work. So we want to get just a straight, not beyond. Now, if you're on the other side of the spectrum, like I was just racing ahead of myself too, and you're not feeling much of a stretch here, like I'm not feeling much of a stretch because, I've been doing this for so long and my body is hyper flexible, I have to straighten out the bottom leg. So there's a few of you that might be true for. And just remember, you don't get extra points for your toe being up like over your head. Sometimes we race to that and we're not being in alignment in the name of trying to get there first. And it might look really nice, but then you end up feeling kind of awful. So we want to always be working from the inside out for what feels good. So one thing is that this hip has to keep down. If to lift up, you have to kind of roll your leg in. You're not going to want to do that. It's going to not feel as good at the end of the day. And the whole point of this pose is to give the hamstrings a little length. So reaching out, shoulders soft, arms soft, jaw soft, chin high so that the back of the neck can be curvy. Take another breath. Okay, now, fancy switch. You're going to take the right leg, or right foot in, bring the left foot down. Just at first, often the poses, or the two sides of our body feel really different in each pose, and that is fine, but we don't want to race right to the deepest place we were just at. So here we are, breathing a bit more. Like, I actually don't feel this in my hamstrings, I feel it in my hip right here. So I often get the question, where should I feel this pose? And the answer is wherever you are feeling it. Unless it's in a joint. So if you feel it in the knee or in the low back, if you're feeling it in the places where the bones meet, that's not going to be a good place. This hip feeling is not in the joint, it's actually in the muscles around the joint, which is a little bit subtle, but if you have any questions, you can always ask me. We'll straighten the bottom leg so I get an even stretch here. And I'm working to keep that hip down so it doesn't hike up like this. Please do the same for yourself. Breathe and soften. Reach out the foot just to get that full length. We want muscles that are long and strong to support us at feeling our best and having our optimal health all the time. And if you do something performative or competitive with your body, sports or dance or something like that, also helping you just really get to know your body and hone your instrument so that you can do the things that you want to do with it. One more breath. Okay, release. Now, I'm going to take the strap off to the side, roll on over, and let's come back up to downward facing dog. It's going to feel really different now. Yes. much different. Hops at the thigh bones, pressing up and back, and you know what? I'm going to even lift my left leg high. Go ahead and join me here. Working against hyperextension, pushing the floor away to send the hips back. Second side. Keep breathing. Okay, let's go back to the first side and then come forward for a one-legged plank. Hug it in, hug it in, hug it in. Back up to the dog and down. Next, up. Forward to the plank. Up and down. And let's walk all the way forward. And if still, after all that work, you need blocks, get you some blocks. It's fine. Get what you need. Here, I'm going to bow forward, soften the knees. It's nice to have those blocks handy just in case you decide, oh yes, I do need them. I'm going to lift the left leg high here. You'll notice I'm not opening up so much like this, but I'm turning the hip open so that we're hip down, toes down. Bottom knee would love to hyperextend here, so I'm keeping it nice and soft. I always like to take my hand at the back of the calf here and hold on for support. I always get a few more inches in the back. Now exhale and come down. Take a breath. Exhale it out. Second side. Remember, not open in the hip, but hips square to the ground. Toes alive. Breathing here. Trying to keep the hips square to the front. Toes soft, not holding on for dear life. And breathe. And back down it comes. All right. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. I'm going to put my right fingertips in front of my nose, left hand to the hip, and twist open to the left. Knees, again, so soft. I can't say it enough times. I'm putting my hand on my low back to make sure my hips stay stable, parallel to the front and parallel to the floor. If you can reach your back easily, I suggest that as a nice tool. Exhale down, second side. As you inhale. Hugging in, feet to the midline. Exhale down. Hands to hips. And coming up. Okay. Turn to face the side of your mat and step wide. Left toes turn open. Heel to arch alignment. All four corners steady. Bend through the front knee for a little warrior two here. Back thigh bone back, rolling in, scooping the tailbone, finding all that action, feet so steady on the ground. Reaching out both fingertips, just breathing with us. Inhale back up, switch it over to the second side. Rolling in and widening. Front knee right over the ankle. Reaching out the fingertips. Feels nice to be doing something besides a deep hamstring stretch after all of that. This is our little break. One more breath. Straighten. Now bring your feet parallel to each other, wide, and bow forward. Soften the knees as you come over so we don't stress the knees. Can use blocks here for sure.
some of you that are close, you can put a block right underneath where your forehead is and actually rest your head on the block. And that can be really nice. So you're welcome to try that little blockhead situation. Okay. Inhale, coming on up. Let's move the block. Actually, you're probably going to need this block, so leave it there. Open the toes. Block is going to come down to the outside of the front ankle. If you need it, a little triangle. Soft knee, back inner thigh rolling, pressing back, rolling in, tailbone scooping. Maybe you come down. I'm going to reach my arm overhead here to get this really nice juicy stretch. I invite you to do the same thing. One more breath, and inhale, come up. Switch it up to the second side. Back thigh bone goes back, in and apart. Reach, and come down. Don't be shy about getting blocked if you need it. Push your feet into the ground to come up. And let's turn your feet back to the first side. Bend through the front knee. Little hamstring break. This time you're going to reach straight up. And then take the backhand down the leg. Just breathing into wherever you feel this pose. Being so conscious of your body to apply all the pieces of alignment you already know. Inhale back up. Second side. Bending deep. Reaching up first. And then taking the hand down. Okay, inhale, come up. Straighten the front leg. Walk your feet together. And let's find your blanket. If you don't have a really firm, steady blanket, you can just roll up your mat and do this. I'm going to roll this up. My block's on the front of it. And you're going to step the ball of your foot onto the top part of the roll so that this part of your foot, the ball of your foot is on the highest point of the roll. Heel is on the ground. Oh, knees love to hyperextend here, so you're going to make sure to soften them. Here we are, just standing up. You get a nice calf stretch first. Lengthening up. Just breathing. Just getting to be right here, right now. Nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Just the sensation in your body. Just noticing. Now you can start bowing forward, bringing your hands to the blocks, or, on any level, or down to the ground if that's steady for you. Okay, about 3 more breaths here. Hands to hips to come up.
step off. Keep your roll handy and just put it here towards the left side of your mat if you're facing the side. Go ahead and come to the front of your mat. Arms to your side. Take your left leg first. Reach it long behind you for warrior three. Now arms can go out to the side or overhead. Overhead's going to be slightly harder. Bring it back in. Take a breath with both feet on the ground. Second side. And back. Okay. Now, you've got this roll here. I want you to put your left toes up on the roll, left heel on the ground. Walk your right foot back to the back edge of the mat, still in the heel to arch alignment. It's a little bit more precarious of a balance, so just work with that. Take a moment and just stand. Make sure the back knee doesn't lock. Reach straight up. And then start to come forward into triangle, and you may need your block here. It's a little more intense. It's certainly really different in the front leg. Make sure this front knee is not locked back. Lots of softness in this knee. Okay, I think I can go down another level. Okay, maybe we can go all the way to the floor. See where your edge is at today. Now the gaze here can be at the floor for a little more balance. Support across at one point or up. Up will be the hardest to balance. Press your feet into the ground and come up. Walk the back foot forward and step off. Okay. Second side, the easiest thing is going to be for you just to put your other foot up. I'm going to do that. Spreading my toes. Go ahead and spread your toes. Settle into the pose here first, reaching up. And coming over. Inhale, come all the way back up. Heel to the back foot in. Step off. All right. So now, maybe move your blanket to the side. Grab your strap. Actually, we're going to do one thing before we do the strap. Grab your blocks. You can't do a hamstring class without this one. So here we go. Bowing over. We're going to take the left leg back. And really, like, your feet are parallel, they just happen to be one way in front of the other. Do not do this like you're walking a tightrope. Let the back foot be wide a little bit. So it's more like you have each foot on one side of a railroad track. Here, the front leg is going to get as straight as it can. And the hips, I'm going to come up just to show you, you don't want them off to the side. You want them parallel the front edge of your mat. You don't want one higher. You want them parallel to the floor. So keep all that while the knees are soft and come back forward. It may be that you have to come down a few notches. You're going to find your place. It may be that the blocks are not low enough, in which case you're going to maybe put 2 chairs here or put your hands on the wall. Those are all options. Wherever you are, breathe and settle.
Now you can stay right here, and I highly suggest that if your hamstrings are really tight and this is challenging for you, you might want to just stay here and work. If you've got a little space, you'd like to go deeper, or your body will let you go deeper, you're going to put your right thumb into the right hip crease, press it back, and twist open towards the right side, which is the leg that's in front. If you'd like to do it and it just doesn't feel accessible, bringing this left hand onto a block might be the thing that helps you get there. Exhale, release, soften the front knee, step forward, and take your right leg back. Settle both feet down and breathe. Okay, take your left thumb into the left hip crease. If you did it on the first side, do it on the second side, unless it did not go well for you on the first side. And twist it open. I'm hugging the feet together, bringing a lot of awareness into my hips to try to find that parallel to the floor, parallel to the front edge of the mat. A lot of weight on that back heel. Exhale, release it. And step forward. Lift the heart halfway. Exhale down. Again, step wide, just like we did at the beginning of class, and just shift your hips side to side. Find the place in the middle, bend the knees, scoop the tailbone to come on up. Okay, now your strap. Okay. Now, this next pose is a pretty advanced pose, and it's one where people can get lost in the excitement of it and forget to check in with the foundation. So, I'm going to show you a couple options. The first option is going to be to just simply, wardrobe change here, okay, just lift the foot here, interlace under, maybe straighten. When we go to the side, you can hold the side of the knee and open to the side, okay? You can definitely do that. Another option is going to be to take the strap. This is where not being on a cushy floor, but being on a really solid floor can be helpful. Hold up with the strap and do everything with the strap. You can also, if your body can, reach down and hold the big toe or the outer edge of the foot. So find one of those three positions, either holding the foot, holding the strap, or holding under the leg. Root down through the standing leg. Take that thigh bone back and roll it in. Get really tall. Find your four corners and then start reaching the leg long. Maybe it doesn't get long even after all that hamstring stretch. That's fine. Breathe. Come open to the side. Not 180 to the side, but just halfway there. Come back and release. All right. If you want to practice this and your balance is just not quite there, you are not alone. You might put your hand, you might practice it somewhere where you can put your hand on a wall like this, or the hand on the back of a chair or couch, something for stabilization. All right, second side. Reach up. Again, your choices are under the knee, hooking the strap, holding the strap with one hand, same hand as foot, or taking that same hand to the foot, left hand to left foot, and holding it to the pinky toe side or the big toe. It's a little more stable if you hold the outer edge of the foot, but it takes more flexibility. Standing leg, thigh bone back, rolls in, tailbone down. Okay, now I feel my foot on the ground. Okay, straighten. Might feel helpful to bring this arm up or to the side, out. Breathe. Back. And down. Okay, enough of that. Let's come back down to the floor. So seated poses can be the most difficult poses for the low back. So I'm going to show this to the side. Feet together for a moment. You're going to roll inner thighs down, outer thighs up. And see if you can get this low back curve up and in. If you can't, you're going to sit up on your blanket or blocks. Just keep elevating the hips in an even way. Don't just like bunch it up and sit on it. Have your hips be in an unsafe position. Get it really even. Hold on to the shins and just sit up for a moment. I'm realizing there's so many wonderful hamstring stretches. We might have to do a second hamstring extravaganza. When the hamstrings are tight, exhale, release, and bring the legs forward. When the hamstrings aren't, I would say when the hamstrings are not super limber, sitting like this, the hamstrings are pulling on the backs of the legs and creating this low back curve, right? And if you're stretching like this in the low back curve, you can really create a lot of injury here. So you can bend the knees to come up, or you can elevate the hips. You want to try to lift. Realizing I didn't ever really get specific about the hamstrings. The hamstrings are a set of muscles right here in the back where you have been feeling all of these stretches most likely. Fingertips come to the back and sit tall. You're probably feeling that stretch there right now. Get really long through the top of the head and breathe. This is called Dandasana. This might be it for you. This might be the hamstring stretch that you need. If you're here and it feels okay, you can breathe. Not at your limit totally yet. You could start bowing forward. I'm reaching my heart like it's going over the toes. Maybe even hold the feet, but again, that is not the goal. The goal is to find the right pose for you. If you're here, because I want to make sure there's something for everyone, everyone's getting to their edge, I like to put my hands right at my heels, push into my heels. If you can reach them, that can be really grounding. Now, if you're here and you feel like you're ready for yet something else, you can take your left hand, elbow to the outside of the right shin, right hand over, and twist. You can keep the hand on the ground, or you can bring it up and over, and like hand on the ground here. So just twisting and breathing. Trying to make sure my tongue knows it's not doing the work here. Inhale back up, going to the second side. For those of you who are staying in the pose straight forward or sitting straight up, just keep doing that good work. Inhale back up. Take a moment here in the middle. Toes still alive here. Bend. So you're going to have two choices. You can do just a regular Shavasana, or you can do legs up the chair or the wall. That can be a really nice thing to do here. I'm going to do legs up the toy chest. Lay on back. Hands with the belly.
or down by your side, overhead, whatever feels good. You've done some really nice work today, so you're just gonna let yourself settle and breathe now. If you have the time, you can stay in your restorative pose, Shavasana or legs up. And if you're ready to end now with me, you can bring your knees to your chest, roll on over to the right side, come on up to sitting. I don't know about you, but just sitting up feels much different now than it did 50 minutes ago. Take a second to just tune in and notice how that feels in your body, all the layers of your body, the koshas that we talk about in yoga. So physical body, how's that feeling? Mental body, so all your thoughts, and check in with your emotional body, all your emotions, what's happening, what's living there right now. I feel much calmer than when I started. And then the breath and energy body, so just noticing how the breath is moving through your body, how your energy is moving through your body. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Thank you so much for joining me on this hamstring extravaganza. Namaste.